And we're live. Morning all. Welcome to Berlin. A very moody and slightly gloomy Berlin this morning. So we're taking the A320 on about a 2-hour hop from Berlin to Dublin, which should be quite a nice flight. We got to go. We're going to take off, head to the east, and almost immediately wrap back round again and start heading east across Germany and head on over to the UK and then finally make our way into Dublin. So it should be a nice flight. We've got live weather on. We'll see how that goes. Morning Nebula, how you doing? Good to see you. We're doing a cold and dark at the moment, so we're at the gate and you'll see when we hop into the flight deck it's all off. So we'll fire up this one first. I've got a flight plan in SimBrief. You're doing well. Glad to hear it, Nebula. Glad to hear it. Right, so we'll download our flight plan onto this tablet here. So what's the weather doing in Ireland? 160 and 8. Okay. Okay. Right, we need to fuel our aircraft before we get too carried away. And I need to find out how much fuel we need. And I'm ashamed to admit I just completely defer to SimBrief for that, because there's no way I'm working that out myself. So apparently we need 7,088 kilograms of fuel. There we go. Done. Okay, let's see if we can get some stuff on the go. We've got services to help us. So we've got a ground power unit there. Morning, Bevy. How's it going? For a moment there, I thought that passenger bus might have been for us. Yeah. Not really much going on. Maybe we need GSX. Anywho, let's get the plane fired up, shall we? Let's get this show on the road. So let's just confirm a couple of things first. Parking brake is set. And let's get our batteries on. And we do have external power. Cold and dark indeed, yep. I'm going to change my view because I don't like this view. That's better. Now I can see what's going on. Right, let's get the APU master on. Yeah, I thought we'd do a cold and dark today. We haven't done one in a while, mostly because I've been pressed for time. And today, time allows, so why not? I really wish I had more time in general for all of this. I really do. I feel like it's always a struggle. Go. Hey, could you do me a favour and hit the like button if you're in chat? That'll really help the stream. Really, really help the stream. After Mondays, we need it. Monday's numbers were rubbish, and I don't know why. Okay. Yeah, so that fan noise is basically the plane coming to life, like the AC systems, all that good stuff. Legend, appreciate it. We're just waiting for this light to turn to available. There it goes, available. Now we can do APU bleed, which is the little jet in the tail cone. Now we should be able to turn off external power because now we're running on the APU. Sweet. At least the plane didn't shut off when I did that. There's always a part of me that thinks, is that going to happen? Right, let's get our navs on. 1, 2, 3. And we'll do our fuel pumps. Oxygen supply for the crew. And we're just looking for any white lights on the panel, of which I can see none, which is good. Okay, emergency lights. Where is it? Arm those. No smoking. Yeah, that's good advice actually. Just press all the buttons and the plane will work eventually. Right, let's go down here. ATSU, AOC. We'll do our init. There we go, so it's got our flight plan from SimBrief, which is good. Do our weight and balance. Request the weight and balance info from SimBrief. There it is, so it's pre-populated at all. Hit boarding and wallop. There you go. Now we go to init. The init over here. Again, pulling it all down from SimBrief. Now, let's do our zero fuel weight calculations. So click, because these are orange, if you click this button, it then calculates it and puts the number in the scratch pad for you. Click again and it'll enter it in for you. Nice. There we go. Okay, we'll do flaps 1. Let's pop in -50 up there. Don't really know what else to put in there, so I'll just put that in. So V1 it thinks 135 knots. Rotate 136. V2 140. And we should have a flight plan. Yes, we do. We're going to use runway 07 left. What was our... Forgotten already. Whoops-a-daisy. I've forgotten the SID already, honestly. This channel's rubbish. Oh yeah, spawn kills in FPS games are so annoying. Alright, so annoyingly, the SID that I would like, I can't have, because it's not in the plane. So what about this one? What will this one do? Okay, so that one wants to take us in completely the wrong way. What about this one? That could work. Take us out round there and then we can bring ourselves back round. Oh, there we go, that's the one, isn't it? Round to there, and we can join our flight plan. Maybe. Maybe. Let's go for that one. It's not rubbish. You're too kind. There we go, look. Bum 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 bum. Zoom us back in, I can show you what's going to go on. So we're going to head out the runway this direction, make a turn to the left, sharper turn to the left, and then bang, we're straight on our flight plan. Happy days. Right, coming into Dublin. What are we? Is it 28 right? Fairly certain it's 28 right. I should really memorise this before going live. 28 left. Good job I checked. And we used bags 3L. Now, might be an idea to let's pop that in. Let's there we go. So we're going to come in from the UK. Go bum, 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 all the way around here. It's a complex little, loads of little waypoints there. So we're sort of going to wrap around the coastline of Dublin, I think. Guessing that's sort of going to be the sea. So we need to go from, there's a discontinuity between Obinu and Lampo. So Lampo is here, which is where we begin our final approach. So we just need to join up to there. So hopefully if I just clear that, the plane should be able to put 2 and 2 together. I think it has. Yeah, there it is, look. Good. Goody gumdrops. Okay. Well, dare I say it, I think that's our setup done there. So now we can get our flight directors on, check, put that back to arc. Now what's local pressure? 025, change it to QNH. 1025. Put our constraints on. There's no real constraints, is there, on the way out? We've just got 380. Right, level 380 in the window. Okay, let's lock that door, because we don't want people coming in and annoying us. Alright, we need to get some lights on. The streams are the best MSFS streams I've found. Oh, you're too kind. Trust me, there are a lot of other good streamers. There really are. I should know I take inspiration from a lot of them. Okay, let's get the beacon light on. I feel like I'm going to get rid of these like text tooltips that keep, like where it says there, beacon lights. Toggle beacon lights position on. I feel like they just get in the way. Get some seatbelt lights on as well. Boom. Alright, we're ready to get ourselves pushed back. I think what we'll do, we'll go for a straight back and then around to the right. That's my plan anyway. So we'll call the tug. Even though I don't think there's a tug available, but the plane will behave as if there is one. So ground power's off on its journey. So I think we're going to need that button. So parking brake off. There we go. Wrong way. There we go. And of course, a van decides to go right under us. Right, that'll do. Let's end pushback right there. Tell the tug to clear off. Cheers, tug. Appreciate you. Even though you're not actually there. Alright. Let's get our engines into ignition start. See if we get an engine spin up, shall we? Elise, how's it going? Let me turn this down a bit. Just in time, we're just firing up to get going. Party started now. I don't know why it does that. Every time I go into the... If I go into like the menus or the options, for whatever reason, when I come back, flaps are set to full and speed brakes are out. Right, engines look good. Now we need to turn off our APU, because now we're running off of our own power. And we'll put our engine switch back to normal. Alright, auto brakes maximum in case we encounter a problem. Flaps 1. Ground spoilers are armed. Now we need to do some lights. So, strobes, auto. Nose lights. Taxi. Put nav and logo light on as well. I mean, we don't runway turn off lights. I mean, it is quite gloomy, so we'll put them on. I mean, normally that'd be a nighttime thing. Let's set that. Good, so our takeoff config looks normal. I don't know if any of you know. Oops, wrong button. Press TO config. It says takeoff config normal, so that's good. Right. I think it's time for us to begin a taxi and get ourselves over to Dublin. It's pretty gloomy here today. I suppose it's your summertime, right? Yeah, waking up this morning, it was like, ugh. That looks horrible out there. Hopefully by the time we get over to Dublin, it will brighten up a little bit. I'll tell you what we could do with before we go out there is some lights. It's a bit better, isn't it? That being said, it's more like it. Right, let's mosey on down, shall we? Yeah, live weather again today. I'm determined to keep trying with it. (737 Aviation). Hello, how you doing? Thanks for coming by the stream. Nice to see you. Drone 737. Hopefully you're not chasing 737s with drones, that would be bad. Yeah, an RC 737 would be awesome, wouldn't it? That would be something. I'm going to try and get a video out later today. Last night I was playing around just for fun, really, off stream, and I set the weather to be in Gibraltar, to be like a 30-40 knot crosswind, so I could practice my crosswinds. And one of them didn't go so badly, so I might make a little video out of that today. I've got the footage, so. Doing well, thanks, drone. Cannot complain. It's a Wednesday morning. I'm playing Flight Sim. Got some awesome people in chat. You can't say fairer than that. Shirley says, you know, people make massive RC planes. Yeah, they're so cool. I think I saw one recently of like an A380 that someone made. That was cool. That was very cool. They must cost a pretty penny, those things. You must think, like, when you're coming into land, it's like, do not crash it, do not crash it, do not crash it. Right, I think this is us. I really want the fly-by-wire A380 to come out. Remote control paper plane. There you go, Bevy. That's your destiny. Right, this is our runway. Yeah, maybe we should write to the devs. Okay, lights are on. Strobes on, landing lights on, nose lights on. So the packs are on. I'm not going to turn them off. Only because I kind of think in the present context that's a bit more realistic. I don't know if you're aware, like when you... So the packs are like the air conditioning packs. So a lot of the air that comes into the cabin comes from the engines. It's kind of siphoned off. And it's like cooled down and pumped into the cabin. Those of you that have flown, you may recall sort of just before takeoff you hear the air vents all sort of shut off, and that's the that'll be the pilots turning these things off to give maximum power to the engines, because obviously siphoning off some of the air that's going through the engines affects the performance. However, in light of COVID, quite often they're left on because ventilation is priority now, so it means we lose a little bit of performance, but I kind of think it's probably the sensible choice given where we are. But in the sim I don't think it actually makes any difference. Oh, there are some really cool designs, Bevy, for like paper planes online. You can like print them out and it tells you sort of like fold this one, then this, then this, then this, then this. I sometimes do it with my kids. And then the dog just chews them up. No, we spent like 10 minutes on that one. Never quite sure like what's the appropriate point to start takeoff. It feels like here probably isn't. Right. I'm going to go with here. Here feels like a sensible place. Alright. I don't think I've missed anything, although it is entirely possible that I have. Who wants to go to Dublin? Should we go? Come on, let's go to Dublin. Let's go to Dublin. Let's go and see the Dubs. Nice bit of stutter there, Flight Sim. Appreciate that. Okay. A little bit of wind. So I'm needing to use that rudder pedal to push us to the left. It's like the plane wants to push us to the right. And rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Yeah, lots of wind. Wow. The screen's brightened up a bit. Okay, we'll keep us on main toga thrust for now. Sorry, Bevy, can't go back now. Leave a climb. Guess that'll be Berlin. I don't know why. I don't know why the data at the top of the screen thinks we're in cruise. Oh no, it says climb. Ignore me. Excellent. This is a very moody morning, eh? So, to be clear, we are actually sort of heading in the wrong direction currently. So we do need to make a turn. Oh, look at that. Gotta love flight sim. A night flight, yeah, night flight would be good fun. I always feel a little bit apprehensive of night flying. I don't know why. I think I struggle quite a lot with the landings. I find it really hard when it's dark. Just because you don't have any kind of landmarks that aren't the runway to kind of gauge your distances. Similarly, like if I'm coming into San Francisco from the heading north, the way you come in through the you have water, and it's like water, runway, and I find that very difficult because the water just looks like one big sheet of water. Alright, 10,000 feet. Lights off. Standard pressure. We should be able to speed up a little bit now. Yeah, I find San Francisco incredibly difficult. Just because you haven't got those other things to give you sort of relative positional data, if that makes sense. It's entirely my own weakness, like obviously other people do it all the time, so it's something I need to get better at, so I'll be keen to give it a go. Yeah, I mean you've got the pappies, even so. It's just weird. Just a very weird sensation. I guess maybe if you're coming into a big urban area that itself is lit up quite well, that could be handy. Let's put the map on. Almost forgot. So the map doesn't know about our route that we're taking out of the airport. It's just kind of drawn a line to the first waypoint that it knows about. So don't be alarmed if we seem off course on the map there. Hate to ask guys, but if you haven't already, could you consider hitting the like button for me? It really, really, really helps the channel and the stream so much. And I hate asking, but ultimately, I kind of have to. Sorry. The button's free. It costs you nothing. Appreciate it, Jalise. Thank you. The stream is free. And some would say it's worth what you pay for it, but, you know. Oh, Matthew. How you doing? Got the whole flight crew in today. Right, how are we looking? Oh, my apologies to your thumb. We can disarm speed brakes actually, can't we? Seatbelt lights we can turn off. And away we go. Do I fly much in real life? As in, do I fly myself or do I fly on like airlines? I guess I can answer both. Airlines, maybe like once a year. Obviously COVID did its thing and kind of ruined a lot of that for us, but yeah, I guess in normal times maybe once a year. Generally go somewhere that required a flight. Done transatlantic a couple of times. That was cool. Got to fly on a 747. That was something I really wanted to do because that was, when was that? 2015, and the writing was kind of on the wall at that point that they weren't going to be long for this world, or the majority of them anyway. It was actually quite a challenge to find a flight to America on a 747, and we were going to Las Vegas. And Virgin Atlantic, when we booked, when you kind of choose the dates, the times, it did actually say, I don't know if it still does, they may have changed it, but at that time it told you what plane you were going to be on, and we kind of booked the trip around that a little bit. If you flew from Gatwick in the morning, the chances of you getting a 747 were very high. So we did that, and we got one. I just remember being struck by how long the plane was. Not necessarily how big or how wide or how tall, it's just how long it was. Really, really long, because we were sat almost by the front door where the passengers come in, very near the staircase to where you go up to the upstairs bit. And it's sort of partway through the cruise, like all the cabin crew were kind of, I think they were taking a break or something, and there was no one up and about, and I sort of looked behind me and you could see all the way down the aisle, all the way down to the back galley, and it's like, that is a long, long aeroplane. Just so incredibly long. One of those moments where like you think, blimey, there's like 300, 400 people on here, we're doing like 600 miles an hour. Look at the size of it, it's just suddenly dawns on you just quite how impressive they are. I mean, you can get a 747 if you were to fly with Lufthansa. That's probably your best bet, because they've got a lot of the 747-8s, which is the 747 that's been modernised with the technology from the Dreamliner, hence the -8 from the 787, I presume. So if you look at the engines, they've kind of got the little spiky bits at the back of the engine. I forget the name of that technology now, but it's to reduce noise and things like that. It's got the raked wingtips that the 787 has to help with aerodynamics, efficiency. So I guess if I wanted to do that, I would have to fly from the UK to Germany, and then Germany to probably to like America or somewhere wherever they're going to fly their 747s. I think British Airways still has... No, didn't they get rid of all of theirs? I don't know. It's very sad though. Especially during COVID, there was an airport, I forget where, there was an airport somewhere in the south of England that all of a sudden, it was a bit of a nothing airport really, but all of a sudden the airlines made a deal and it just got full of 747s parked up. It's just a bit sad really. Oh yeah, music, good call. Sorry, I was getting carried away talking about 747s, getting all sad and nostalgic. Right, let's see if I can get this mix right on my fancy little mixer I've got here. Seems a shame that the A380 looks like it's going to go the similar way to the 747 as well, inevitably. I mean, they've stopped making them. I guess the, what was it they call it? Long and skinny routes? They're the ones that seem to be the most popular with passengers. And it makes sense. I was reading some of those, like one example of a reason why sort of like the 787, the A350s are really sort of coming into their own now. And the 747s and the A380s are not. It's like there was a route from, I think it was like Spain or France to somewhere in Argentina. And there's demand for that route, but not enough demand to fill up a 747 or an A380. And if you wanted to go there with a 747, A380, you couldn't because the airports can't support a jet of that size, so you'd probably have to go to a hub airport, maybe like France to JFK or somewhere like that, then get a smaller plane down to the next place, which is inconvenient for the passengers. Or you could just get on one plane and go directly there. Easier for the airlines to fill the planes. Planes are more efficient. Planes are more modern, quieter, nicer, better for everyone. So it makes sense. But I do just like seeing those massive airliners. There's something cool about them. It's like you see a 747 coming into land in real life, it's like, yeah, there's something cool about that. Not that there's nothing cool about an A320 or 350 or whatever, but there's something about a 747, something big. It's just like, damn, that's so cool. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you were to go... I mean, Emirates are still a massive operator of them, aren't they? The A380s. So I guess if you were to ever go to or via Dubai, there's a chance you could get on one. Apparently you get less jet lag on a 787. I heard that recently. Due to it being a carbon fibre body. So obviously, like, you know, airliners are pressurised. And if you've got an aluminium fuselage, you kind of think of it like a balloon. If you pressurise it too much, the thing will pop. And the amount of pressure that an aluminium hull can withstand versus a carbon fibre, aluminium can withstand less pressurization. So you get a better pressurization in a carbon fibre fuselage like a Dreamliner. Better air quality, makes you feel less groggy on the other end, apparently. It's clever stuff. Right, how are we doing on the all the other stuff? Got to go back in 20, no worries. You have a good one. See you shortly. So another 2 or 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes we'll be up to cruise. 1,133 miles. Oh no, wait, that's the time we're going to arrive. I thought that was a bit much. Distance, 794 miles. Nautical miles. So how are we doing for waypoints? 23 miles to the next. so it's more or less a straight line, a little bit wiggly, but let's just step through the route, shall we? Go. So I guess this will be over the UK, and then this will be as we get into across Wales here, I presume. It's too bad you can't overlay like a map. Well, I guess you can on the real aircraft, but just not on this one. Yeah. I don't know. Don't know. Welcome back, drone. Welcome back. Rock Pebbler says, morning, heard you talk about flying. My first was a Lockheed 1049 to Barcelona. Took nearly 4 hours. I am ashamed to admit, I don't know what a Lockheed 1049 is. I know Lockheed Martin. I've never heard of that plane. I'm going to have to Google that. Wow, that's an old school plane. That's awesome. Look at that. Took 4 hours. So where was that from for it to take 4 hours? Luton, oh wow, so yeah. I guess you'd expect to do that in like 2 hours now, wouldn't you? What's my favourite planes? Well, on the sim, currently I think it's this plane, the A320. Although I'm conscious that that might just be because I feel confident in it. So I have bought the PNDG 737, and I am slowly learning it. But it's just wild, absolutely wild how different it is. For what should be such a similar aircraft, like in size and shape and basically the role that they fulfill in the world. They should be so similar, but they're so different. Loads of little kind of Boeing-isms that throw me off. Just things like, like if I was to go down here, I'll start clicking around, I know exactly where I'm going, whereas in the Boeing, I'm like, I don't know where I'm going, I'm lost. And like the autopilot, you kind of can do everything with 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 dials. And like 1, 2 buttons. Whereas on the Boeing, it's all different. Different terminologies for the same thing. I mean, it's not the fault of Boeing, to be clear. I'm not angry at Boeing. It's just one of those things that you realise how little you know the more you start to dive into something. Although I am tempted to buy that Thrustmaster yoke. Always with the paper plane. I mean, they're affordable. Bamaran says, we have super similar specs, even down to the case, with streaming and such. Just curious how your FPS performance is. Okay, so that's interesting. So recently I've limited my FPS intentionally to 30 FPS. So right now we're running at 30. The stream is outputting 60 frames, which is arguably a bit of a waste because I'm kind of doubling up on stream frames versus game frames. But the reason is, this will sound a bit weird, but the reason is literally power cost. So I've got a Stream Deck. I don't know if you've heard of a Stream Deck. They're like the little things with loads of little screen buttons. Each button is a screen. And I've hooked it up so that my graphics card power draw is displayed on one of the little screens. So I can see how much power my GPU is using. And if I were to set it at 30 FPS, it really reduces the amount of power the graphics card uses. And it's weird because I kind of have to consider stuff like that. If I'm doing these streams like 4 times a week, like tomorrow I'm planning to do a long haul flight. I'm actually out tomorrow, so I won't be able to live stream it. But my plan is to set it going. I'll do like the takeoff in the morning, basically set autopilot going, and then head out for the day. Maybe I'll be able to come back halfway through and change the view or something, just so we're not looking at one view for like 8 hours. But you kind of have to consider electricity costs at that point. Especially at the moment. I mean, we're super lucky because we signed up to a contract where we're locked in at a good price until October next year. But even at this really good price, if you imagine the PC could use 350 watts, 400 watts maybe at a push when it's under full load, times that by 8 or 9 hours for a long haul, call it 10 for round numbers, that's 4 kilowatts that PC is used to do that flight. Now, like I said, we got a crazy good deal. We're locked in till next year, and I think we pay 19 pence per kilowatt hour. So even that is like 80p, perhaps a little bit more, if it overruns a little bit. So you're looking at nearly £1 to do a long haul flight. Or if I can restrict my GPU's power usage, then all of a sudden that pound might turn into 60p, which when you extrapolate that over a month, over a year, it's not nothing. Now, to be clear, I am like, besides being a flight simmer, I'm a big PC gamer generally. I love high FPS. Like, I bought the 165Hz monitor. I love it all. I love nerding out over the specs, optimizing, overclocking. So if I'm playing something like Call of Duty, Valorant, Halo, all that stuff, I want every frame that my PC can give me. I don't care about power at that point. But when you're playing a game like Flight Sim, I mean, just look at this screen right now. How much motion is there really? Just a cloud gradually moving across the screen. You don't need 100 FPS for that. You don't even need 60. I think 30 is enough. It is enough. And also, if you're limiting it to 30, it basically stays locked at 30 because it's so easy for the PC to achieve. So you don't get any you get less spikes and dips. Whereas if the PC's like going 100, 60, 110, 40, it can kind of feel a little bit janky. Is it true that Liz Truss weakened the British pound? Yes, it is. Yeah, I must remember to thank her for that. Blooming marvellous. Still, it's hard for everyone. And it probably wasn't just that. There's a lot of worldwide factors that are influencing things at the moment, so could be a lot worse. Could be a lot worse. Born with their proper aircraft, DC-3, DC-6. Very lucky to be on the flight deck. Wow. Nice. Oh, you're getting more into it. Nice. Book your first PC, learning all about the PC world. That's awesome. Have you enabled XMP on your RAM? That's probably the biggest thing you can do, or most important thing you can do to improve performance if you've got the same specs as me. It's a bit laggy. Having just said, oh yeah, 30 FPS is fine. Nice, yeah. A lot of people don't enable XMP, so they buy the 3600 MHz RAM, and without enabling XMP, you won't actually get that performance out of the RAM. And the RAM has a direct impact on the what's it called? F-clock, Infinity Fabric stuff. Oh, Bevy, your message just disappeared about forgetting what she was doing. Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree. By the way, is an RTX 2070 good? I mean, here's what I would say. There aren't bad graphics cards, there are bad prices. I mean, take that example to the extreme. If someone gave you a 2070 for like $10, that'd be good, right? Depends what the price is. Really depends what your budget is. What CPU you're going to be pairing it with. That can make a massive impact. again, take that example to the extreme. If you were to buy the new 4090, even in some instances in 4K, they can be limited by the processor in the machine. So unless you've got a top-of-the-line processor that can let that graphics card run free and be as powerful as it wants to be, unleash its power, as it were, probably very little point getting a 4090. You got one for free? Serious? How did you manage that? Were you trolling? I can't tell if you're serious. So Rock Pebbler, when you say you're on the flight deck, were you like actually flying the aircraft, or were you sort of allowed on the flight deck as a guest? And that's a thing of the past now as well, isn't it? I remember like when I was a kid, you would hear of like friends at school got to go on holiday, and like the captain would invite a couple of the children up to see the cockpit. Like, that's gone now. Sad, but for good reasons, obviously. That is insane if you've got a free 2070. Is it a 2070 or a 2070 Super? I mean, any which way you slice it, that's amazing. So yeah, good job. Oh, okay, you got 6700 XT. I nearly ended up with one of those, actually. Because at the time I built my PC, I had the motherboard, CPU, RAM, case, power supply, SSD, all the bits. And I was like, that was probably in, what, November? December 2020? And I was like, right, sweet, I just need to grab a GPU, because the new ones have come out, and I know they're a bit pricey, but they're really good, so I'll just accept the pain of to my wallet and buy one. And you just couldn't find one anywhere. What with COVID, what with everyone being at home, suddenly deciding, I know what, I'll play PC games to pass the time of day. Crypto, mining, going through the roof, it was like a perfect storm. And I just could not get one. It wasn't until mid-March that I finally managed to get one. That was with me searching every single day. And I managed to find a 3070. But during that time, I think it was like February, the 6700 XT released, so I was like, sweet, maybe I can grab one of those on launch day. I didn't really care at that point. I was like, I'll take an AMD, I'll take an Nvidia, I'll go 3080, 3070, 6800, 6700. Just give me something, because I've got this build here that's just rotting and I can't use it. Yeah, Bevy, that's amazing. If you've got a 2070, that is a solid graphics card right there. That's only one generation behind mine. $419 USD, that's a good price. Sensible price for a sensible card, I would say. Good job. Good job, good job. As a guest, nice. That'd be amazing to go up into a cockpit when the airplane's in flight. It really would, but it's just not going to happen now, is it? I guess the closest we'll get is kind of like the tail cams that you get on like the A380s and such, to get a sense of what's in front of you. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at like the new GPUs that are coming out now, like the 4090, 4080, what will be the 4070 most likely in January. It's hard to justify it. It's like they are good, but you know. But to answer your question about OBS being an impact, it's not much of an impact, especially on Nvidia, because I don't know if you're aware, Nvidia GPUs have what they call an NVENC encoder. NVENC stands for Nvidia Encode. So it's a separate little chip that does all the encoding to send the video out stream. So it doesn't really impact your game performance that much. Without that, I'd have to have my CPU do the encoding, which would then obviously impact the CPU's ability to run the game as well. AMD, I believe, also has an encoder on board, though I'm less familiar with it. Just make sure in your encoder settings, do not use X264, because that will use the CPU. Make sure you use, I think, is it Nvidia? Nvidia call theirs NVENC. AMD, is it VCE or? Just make sure you choose the right thing in the drop down, basically. Hey Manuel, how's it going? Yeah, I mean, people say AMD lack in that department of the encoder, but I don't think it's that bad, not really. Yeah, you're right, Rock Pebbler. I'm always very dubious whenever, like, you know, there's an Nvidia event or let's have a look out the window while we turn. Yeah, whenever Nvidia or AMD do an event and it's like, and here's the FPS we got. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna wait for the actual reviews. Like, at the moment, if you look at their figures, especially like AMD, a lot of their figures are given with FSR enabled, or Nvidia is DLSS enabled. Which of these like upscaling technologies? It's like, no, give me the numbers without any of your silly stuff on top, like the raw numbers. How many FPS in this game? Just rendering the game at full resolution. No funky AI upscalers or frame insertion technologies. Just raw numbers. Come on, guys. Yeah, the reviewers do a great job. Like, you know, you've got Hardware Unboxed, Gamers Nexus. Those are the two I normally look to. It depends on the game, really. It depends on the games you want to play. It's easy to say, like, oh, Nvidia is better or AMD is better. It's like, well, if you spend 90% of your time playing, like, Warzone, and AMD is a bit better in pure rasterization, then maybe AMD is better for you. It's not quite as clear cut as one is better than the other. They're just different. I think a lot of people like to pick a side, and then that's it. Once they've picked their side, you'll never change their mind. Can't be far from the coast now, can we? Yeah, you get this weird kind of sense of tribalism. Like Intel versus AMD, Team Blue versus Team Red, fight! It's like, really? Like, who cares? Just buy the one that's best at the time. I should do a flight in the paper plane. One day I'll surprise you. One day the stream will just fire up and I'll be in the paper plane. And you'll probably miss that stream. Alright, so Amsterdam is coming up. $495 miles to go. Okay. I miss that stream, you'll never see me again. Right, so by this waypoint, Karav, we need to be at flight level 080, so 8,000 feet. So how far is it to Karav? Karav. $433 to Karav. Is it really 60 miles from Karav to... Six, 12, 18, 24, 29, 38, 40, 46, 50. Yeah, it is basically. Wow. Okay. So 429 miles to Karav, and they want us at 8,000 feet. And what are we at now? 38,000 feet. So that's going to be... We do it at 1,500 feet a minute. 144 miles at our current speed. And also we need to drop speed as well. We need to be at 220 knots by that point. Which makes us about 275 miles from top of descent. Oh wow, it's very, very cloudy today. Might just get to see Amsterdam beneath us, although I'm not entirely convinced we will. Your oven has a HDMI port. What? Are you trolling? I mean, really, your 2070 is kind of like an oven. That thing will kick out some heat, believe me. So do you have a PC that you can slot that into? We've really been going nearly an hour. Feels like the stream's going quick today. Nice. So what card do you have currently? Can't see Amsterdam down there. There's too much cloud in the way. See if we can use this to see what the weather's doing. Oh yeah, GTX 1660. Oh yeah, 2070 is a massive upgrade. Just printing out the weather. Just because I can. Collect the paper. D8 is not available. Awesome. You got the 2070 a while ago. So you're actually running it in your system. 160 and 11. It's not so bad. Just wondering if we can spot Amsterdam Airport down there, but not entirely sure we'll be able to. When did he give it to you? Oh yeah, you got cloud vision, I forget. Late 2020, are you serious? You could have made a fortune on that card. So a colleague of mine, guy I work with, late 2020, that was when the 3000 series came out, which I guess is why you ended up with his 2070, because he probably bought one of those. Yeah, guy I work with, he had a 2070 Super in his machine, and he managed to snag a 3080 at MSRP, which was kind of a miracle when you think about the current situation, the situation we were in at that time. And he sold his 2070 for, what was it? It's either £500 or £600. I know he said to me that it was a little bit more than what he paid for it, because people were so desperate for graphics cards that even the old gen stuff. Oh, you can just see the coastline there, look. So yeah, I mean, that's amazing if you got one of those for free. That's absolutely incredible. Yeah, I mean, he probably left like £500 on the table there, I would have thought. People were paying crazy money for old gen stuff, even like 2070s. So obviously like the 70 isn't the top of the line one, it's like a mid-range card. Still really, really good, but... Another friend of mine, I think, sold his 2080 for well over 600. Yeah, that's nuts. Just that whole period of time was very strange, really. I remember when Nvidia announced the 3000 series cards in August. I was so like amazed, like I can get such a better graphics card for so little money. And then you just couldn't find them. In the end, I had to write a little piece of software to like scan people's websites to try and work out when they were coming into stock. That was the only way I got one. i7 3060. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's a nice setup. I very, very nearly ended up with a 3060 myself because I saw one come into stock, but I wasn't quite quick enough to get one. Didn't quite get there in time. Because I was using like Discord. I was signed up to like, I forget what they're called, like Stock Informer or something like that. And it would ding every time it detected a product in stock, but I always noticed like I'd get there and they'd be out of stock. I remember thinking like, they can't be going out of stock that quickly, surely, like in the time it takes me to load a website. That just seemed weird to me. So I wrote my own and sort of set it looking at various different cards I was interested in on various different retailers. I remember one Friday morning mine dinged at me and I got to the site. They were all there in stock, and I just bought one, just like that, done. And then about 3 minutes went by, and then Discord dinged at me. So that to me kind of like validated why I went to the effort to write my own, because yeah, the notifications on Discord I guess weren't quick enough. But the fact that it had to go to that length is just crazy. Are you using DLSS with your 3060? I mean, that would help a ton. Depending on the resolution you're playing at, I guess. Yeah, I mean 38's fine for this game. You really don't need much more than that. Like the smoothness that high frame rate gives you, like that kind of buttery feel that everything just feels so nice. It's hard to get that from this because stuff doesn't really move, you know. So even when you're coming into land, like, if you were to track the motion of the objects on the ground, it's nothing compared to like a fast-paced first-person shooter or something like that. That's when you need it. Oh, you haven't got that Samsung monitor, have you? That G9? Yeah, no wonder you're getting 38 FPS with a monitor that big. That's a massive resolution to drive, isn't it? Isn't that 5120 by 1440? Something like that? That's like two 1440p displays, essentially. Yeah, okay, that's... Yeah, I wouldn't worry about getting only 38 FPS in that case. That's a huge monitor to drive. Oh, good for you. That's an awesome monitor. Great for simming though, I bet. Can't get 240 Hz but 120 only. As in, your graphics card can't perform above 120, or it just won't let you set it to 240? I'm just wondering, is it because you're connected over HDMI? Because it might need DisplayPort to do that resolution at that refresh rate. DisplayPort 1.4, I think. Right, it shouldn't be too long and we should have a bit of England in the window. Because we're going to come above Norfolk. So what cable are you using to connect the monitor to your graphics card? Is it HDMI or DisplayPort? I mean, depending on the game, obviously, yeah. 240 is a very high resolution. Like, even on a normal 1440p panel, which is what I use, I would struggle to get 240. Like playing Call of Duty or something, even with some of the new stuff, with everything set to ultra, you know. I think really 120 is the point at which you get that. Anything above 100 really is like you get that high refresh feeling where everything feels super smooth and buttery. You know, the point where you feel it. Like, I've got a 165 Hz monitor and I struggle to tell the difference between 120 and 165. So, I don't know. It's not HDMI, but a connector I've never seen it before. It's probably DisplayPort. Is it like a rectangle with one corner chamfered off? If so, that would be DisplayPort. Which is what you should be using. HDMI, especially HDMI 2.0, wouldn't be the right thing. Yeah, that's DisplayPort. Yeah, that sounds like you're all set on that front. That's good news. I bet if you were to play something like Counter-Strike, like one of these esports titles that's a bit old now, you'd probably get 240 out of it. Just depends on the game, really. Can we see England out the window yet? Nothing yet. I'm guessing it's basically where those clouds are. Really cloudy today. There's a slight distortion either side of the monitor. Well, as in things are a bit stretched when they get to that side. Get to the outer edges, you mean? Or like there's actually a fault with the panel. Because that is common with the ultra-wide stuff. To have things wider at the extremities. Because that's like the field of view kind of thing taking effect. I bet that monitor would be great for racing sims as well, wouldn't it? That's one thing I always struggle with, like playing Gran Turismo on a 4K TV. You don't have that kind of peripheral... You don't have that peripheral vision. Like if you've got a car coming right up next to you. I mean, really VR would be the solution for that, wouldn't it? Mr. Beast first subscriber. I bet that YouTube account that would actually be worth quite a lot of money. Good old Mr. Beast. He's a very switched on individual. No way, 75 inch, that'd be awesome. I was measuring up the other day for what a 75 inch, how that would fit in our front room. And it would actually be too big, which I actually was quite devastated by. Looks like I'm stuck at 65. But yeah, an ultra wide for like racing sims would be awesome. Especially if you've got the cockpit view, then you can kind of see your mirrors maybe as well. I do love me some Gran Turismo. I should maybe stream some of that on the other channel. Right, how are we doing? 275 to Kerav. And it's apparently going to take us 150 miles to descend to 8,000 feet, which is what we need to be at by the time we get there. So we're not actually that far, are we? We're really not far off. The plane editor, fly-by-wire. Yes, it is indeed. Good morning, welcome on in. 140 miles. Yeah, so we're about 100 and... We'll call it 150 miles. We'll give ourselves 10 miles to slow down as well, because there's a speed restriction in place. Right, where is England? It's got to be out the window by now. There it is. The north coast of Norfolk. So I guess we're going to make landfall roughly around Lincoln, that sort of way. Got quite a bit of wind going on. What's the wind doing at Dublin? 160 and 11. I mean, it's not nothing, but it's also not terrible. What if we were to descend at more like 2,000 feet per minute? 105 miles to go. I'm going to give us 120 miles to descend at 2,000 feet per minute, because we've got a bit of a wind, which might help us with our managing our speed. So that gives us 140 miles. Yeah, the longer the better, Bevy. First rule of YouTube. I managed to get my YouTube tag the other day, actually. That's what she said. I walked right into that one, didn't I? Very nice view. Alright, how far are we? Can't be far now. 233. And we're going to give ourselves 120. 110 miles until we descend. Let's just check how much fuel we've got. Good. Plenty. Plenty, plenty, plenty. Kind of looking forward to getting underneath this cloud so we can maybe see some stuff, you know? What's all that about? That was weird. Company message. There we go. 160 and 11. So we've got about 70 miles. We'll get underneath this cloud. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm kind of getting sick of all this cloud. I just want to see something underneath it. I want to see where we're going. So in terms of our runway into Dublin, we'll be going into 28 left, I believe. So that basically means we'll be landing sort of facing the west. So it'll be almost like straight in. There'll be no kind of looping around the back and then coming, doing a 180. Oh, that's what's under the clouds, ground. I had no idea. Yeah, it should be quite a cool approach because we're going to be kind of coming in, running down the south of Dublin, so Dublin will be out the right side of the aircraft. And then we'll turn ourselves in. we'll head a little bit south of the airport, turn ourselves back, and then in on the left, do a left turn and come in on final. So the wind is at what are we doing with the wind? Is it 160? Yeah, 160. So we'll be at 2... We've got about 100 degrees difference. Which isn't nothing. That might be a little bit of a challenge on the way in. That could be quite cool. You might get a go around yet. You might. Thank you for all the likes this morning, by the way. We're up to 8 likes now, which I know is small fry for a lot of YouTubers, but to me that's actually quite a big deal, so I do appreciate that. Thank you. You can almost see where the land ends, can't you? I bet that'd be the coast up there. So cloudy. Yeah, I guess there must be a reason for that, like in terms of weather data. Like, if you're a weather person, you probably know more. Like, why is it not over the sea? Why is it just over the land? Must be a reason for that. "40 miles. How do you find the weather readings? I don't think it's good. How do you mean? So I'm in the A320neo, so I use this over here, this tablet. So I've got 160 and 11 knots. You can go in here. Where is it? Menu, ATSU, AOC, WX, so weather request, and it will do all of these. So that's where we took off from, that's where we're going, this is our alternate. Oh, as in how do I think the real weather feels in the game? Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree with you that it's not that good. It's 160 and 11, there it is. Yeah, we were saying a couple of streams ago, actually, weren't we, that it feels very strange, especially on final approach. Like, we've had it before, where we've had it in Barcelona, we've had it in Malaga, we had it in Australia, where on final approach, so the weather will say it's going to be whatever. Say you've got like a headwind, then all of a sudden at the last minute it will just change, like really, really quickly. Like all of a sudden what is a headwind then turns into a crosswind, and it's like, where did that come from? And then the plane sort of shakes around because I guess it's kind of adjusting to the new weather data that's being thrown at it. I mean, surely that doesn't happen in real life. Like we had it the other day where we had a 90-degree crosswind. So the wind was hitting the plane right on its left side. So we were fighting that all the way down. Then at like 500 feet, it just stopped and just turned into a headwind. Now I don't know if that's like considered normal if you're a real pilot, but it feels to me like it probably wouldn't be normal. It's almost like there are different zones, and when you're like zones of weather that the game knows about, and then when your plane crosses from one zone to another, then it just gets weird. It can't figure it out. It's like, oh, it's different now, and it all feels weird. Yeah, I mean, I've noticed sometimes there can be a bit of a delay. Like, I landed in Dublin once, and somebody local was watching, and they were like, oh, that's weird, it's raining in Dublin now, but it's not on the game. But then, sure enough, within 5 minutes, the game started raining. So, I don't know. Maybe there's a lag, but it's just how it changes. It's like, I don't mind it being wrong, as long as it's consistently wrong. But when it goes from crosswind to no crosswind, crosswind again, now it's a tailwind, it's like, what's going on? Like, make your mind up. Makes it very, very difficult when you're coming in on final. Oh yeah, the P50 was a great car. Did you ever see the thing Jeremy Clarkson did in it? I think he drove it around like Television Centre in London. Like through corridors and in lifts. Okay. I'm going to start us descending now. We'll go down to 8,000 at 2,000 feet per minute. I'm giving us a little bit longer, just in case 2,000 is a bit much and our speed goes crazy. Press the wrong button. Okay, 2,000 feet. Engine should start to spool back. Maybe. Maybe they won't, I don't know. Do have this wind. Yeah, there they go. There they go. We'll blame the autocorrect, don't worry about it. Here we go. We're on our way. We are descending. What I'll do, I'll put it at 11,000. We'll level ourselves off at 11. Gives us a chance to get our speed under control, because we will need to drop beneath 250 knots before going underneath 10,000 feet. And then of course we can get ourselves down to 8,000 from there, where we need to be at 220. Yeah, it's always been a paper plane for me. Alright, on our way down now. Probably about a 10-minute descent now. Not too long. Best game in 1980 is GTA 6. 1980? What? That doesn't make sense. That'd be a cool game though. Looking forward to it. In fact, only recently I just completed GTA 5, like literally 2 or 3 months ago. Oh, okay, gotcha. I remember that. Yeah, I can't believe it took me, what, 9 years to complete GTA 5? Had a little bit of time recently. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to complete it. It's been too long. Far too long. Good game though. Like, even when you consider how old it is, like, it's really held up. Did I tease an evening show a couple of days ago? Yes, I did, and I was going to do it last night, but things came up, unfortunately. Real life has a habit of getting in the way. And I thought, oh, it's okay, maybe I'll do it Thursday night, but of course I can't do Thursday night either. It's like, so annoying. I feel like the world just wants to get in the way of my flight sim channel ambitions. Getting some very strange shadow effects, aren't we? Next week, Matthew. Next week I'll... It'll either be a Tuesday or a Thursday evening. Probably 6:30, 7 PM. Right, how are we doing? Well, the good news is we are maintaining speed. And I think we can thank the wind for that, because sometimes if you've got a tailwind, the speed goes up and up and up and up and up as you're descending. And you need to use the speed brakes. Seems like we don't need to do that today, which is always a plus. So that is where you get the ferry from, isn't it? Just over there, I think. Is it Holyhead? I think it's Holyhead. This island is Anglesey, isn't it? So keep in mind that from here to Dublin it's like a 3-hour ferry ride. And in our plane it says we're going to be there in 12 minutes. Which is always a bit crazy. Right, how many miles are we away from our waypoint? Oh, we need to do destination data as well. Alright, QNH 1022, 9 and 160 and 11. I've forgotten that already. 1022. 1022. 9 degrees and 160 and 11. 200 on radio. There we go. Approach speed 130. It's cool. 54 miles away from Carav, where we need to be at 8,000. This is our route. So here's Carav, where we need to be 8,000. Then we bring ourselves down and around, and there's a runway right there. So in a few moments we're going to level out. It's about 2 minutes now. 1.5 minutes, we'll be at 11,000 feet. We'll level out, we'll get our speed under control, then we'll finish the rest off at a slower descent rate at like just under 250 knots. It's been a cool flight though, this. I've enjoyed this one. It's been like kind of broken up into nice little sections. You got like the Berlin, so Germany, then over Amsterdam, then a bit of sea, then the UK, then the last little bit of sea, and you're there. It's kind of like lots of little chunks. Breaks it up nicely. Alright, there's 11,000. So you can see there, the plane's already bringing us down to 250. Which is handy. Now, if we leave speed in managed, once it gets to 250, there it goes. Just hear the engine spool back up a little bit just to get us exactly on there. If we go to 8,000 and also do that at managed, oh no, a helicopter on a house. That's awful. Is everyone okay? So now the plane is going to descend at just the right amount. In order to maintain that 250 speed. We've actually done that in plenty of time, haven't we? Loads of time. So what's the plan after Carav? 3,000 by there. Okay. Oh, that's lucky. Good that everyone's okay. Yeah, that'd be nuts, wouldn't it? Absolutely nuts. Saw you on Flight Radar 24. No, that wouldn't have been me, surely. One day, maybe. Not trying to be rude. Yeah, it's okay, I'll get it. No rudeness coming across anyway. It's all good. No rudeness detected. Right, let's zoom ourselves in a little bit here. So here we go, we've got this turn coming up. So now we're going to get our speed under control. We're going to go down to 220. We won't do that right now because we'll wait till we get to like here maybe. Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure you weren't being rude anyway. Oh, look out, Europe's in the chat. How's it going? Long time. How have you been? How was, it's Prague, wasn't it? Yeah, Prague's cool. Yeah, we had a great time in Prague back in April. And once again, I guess those clouds represent where Ireland is. Very, very cloudy here today. Sweet, Fort Ventura's nice. Look at you getting about. Alright, let's get our speed down to 220. Yeah, it is nice scenery. It's they did an amazing job with this game, they really did. I mean, look at that water. It's just incredible. And the light on the wing and everything. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Just about make out the Irish coast there. Just. I think travelling makes my life happier. Yeah, you're probably right. They say travel broadens the mind. Yeah, you just make out some coastline there. Right, how many miles is it before we need to be at 3,000? 6, 7, 18, 18, 16. Yeah, we've got quite a bit. Yeah, that's the secret, isn't it? Get to the airport in plenty of times, no rush. It's when you get there with like 10 minutes to get through check-in before it closes, that's when the problems start. It's like, why put yourself through that? Right, I'm going to get rid of the map just because it's fairly apparent we're now in Dublin, more or less. And the map's not showing us much and it's kind of getting in the way. So there's our decel point there. It's looking good. First stage of flaps out. Thanks for all coming along today. I don't know about you, but I've had a nice time. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? We're getting near to 2,000 subs now. I don't know. The more I look at it, the more it weirds me out, and the more I kind of feel nervous to go live, because there might be loads of people. Does that make sense? I almost have to kind of pretend it's not a thing. But yeah, it's absolutely awesome. (1022) local pressure. Yeah, all bots. (3,000 feet to go. Cheers, Matthew. Thank you, thank you, thank you. One of your mates has 84,000 subs. Only 130 people join, and the chat is slower than what we see. Okay. I guess it depends on the content type. I think people get hung up on live stream numbers. It's like, if you've got 2,000 subs, and you don't... Some people might think, well, I need, like, you know, at least half of those should turn up to my live stream. So they expect 1,000. It's like, no, 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 no. That's not how live works. You've got to completely recalibrate your expectations for live. Completely. Have a safe landing. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, that's right, Bevies. It's not so much like the moderation that bothers me, it's just the fact that there could be potentially be more eyeballs on you. Yeah, exactly, but then out of those 1,800 people that are subbed, like, you know, they've got lives. I can't expect them all to just drop everything and watch me live. A video, on the other hand, is different, because that can be watched at their convenience. The trick is to leave the live stream up as a video afterwards, I think. But yeah, like, I know content creators that have got like tens of thousands of subs, much like your friend, and then they go live and you see like 24 people watching. You think, why are they only getting 24 when they've got thousands? It's like, that's the nature of being live. Like, at that specific moment in time, those people are available and willing to watch. Kind of do like a Venn diagram of subscribers versus people that are available to watch and people that are willing to watch. It's a very tiny triple intersection right there of that Venn diagram. I think that's why some people get their expectations a bit out of line. Right, let's get some lights on the go. I'm busy talking, I'm getting forgetful. We'll do auto brakes, medium, speed brakes, armed. And we're going to activate our approach phase. Put our speed into managed, and that will try and drop us right down. I'd be a good pilot in real life. Don't know, you should have seen me go into Newcastle the other day. That was an experience. Don't know that I'd actually want to be a pilot in real life. Yeah, you missed that one. I was too busy talking and looking out the window and I completely forgot to put my landing gear down, so we did a belly landing into Newcastle. As much as I would love to pretend it was intentional, it just wasn't. I blame Bevy for distracting me in the chat. That's what I think. Right, flaps out. Let's go. I might retitle that video to "This is all Bevy's fault." Right. No, not raining, just cloudy. It's been very cloudy ever since we left Berlin. So this is our route in. We've got a left turn, then we'll be on final. Right. Lights are on. Auto brakes are set. Flaps are full. Dare I say it, but I think we're in a good position. Wind is currently 184 and 15, predicting 160 and 11 on the ground. So we'll see. This looks like a bit of a rain cloud coming up, doesn't it? Right. Mustn't forget the landing gear today, though, right? Can't really see an awful lot yet, can we? Out the window. Visibility has not been great, has it? No, haven't done a Discord chat yet. In my mind, it's just like another thing to potentially have to moderate, which puts me off. Not gonna lie. So, partial laziness on my part. I kind of feel like my life is full enough with Discord at the moment. I'm not sure I could handle another one that's also happens to be mine, if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I'll think about it. Maybe if I did like channel memberships or something, that could get you access to the Discord. That could be one of the perks, perhaps. Speaking to some other content creators, they recommend that you sort of put it behind a paywall, even if it's a really low paywall, just because it keeps a lot of the troublemakers out. One guy said that he had one that was like completely open for his channel and it just got such a nightmare. Because anyone could join and they would just come in and cause trouble. And then he said he just made a cheap membership on YouTube for like the cheapest one that you could have. And then that got you access to the Discord, and he said it all sorted itself out. It's like one of the nicest Discords he's ever been in. Which is weird, isn't it? Not far to go now. Then we'll make our turn, and we should get visual on the runway. Can't quite see anything much from here though. So we've got live weather on, so we'll see how it behaves. It's always interesting to see what happens with live weather. Right, time to turn, I think. Here we go. No visual yet. Got a tasty little crosswind going on there. Look at that. So hopefully that will lessen the nearer down we get, both in its angle and its speed. Got a bit of a crab going on at the moment. Hear the engine spooling back now. I'm going to start to think about descending. As the plane picks up the glide slope. There you go. See, it's got GS. Now the plane is tracking that glide slope down. It's a nasty little crosswind we got though today, isn't it?
$2,500.
Gear down. Let the record show that the gear is down. Is it going to be butter? I don't know. This could be a tricky one, this. It's quite a gusty little wind. Right. Let's get rid of all our autopilot. We're in full control now. Well, I say full control. Some level of control. This is feeling quite tricky, I'm not going to lie, guys. This is this might not be the butter we've all been hoping for. I'm actually you may not be able to see it, but I'm actually fighting quite a lot with the joystick to keep me on centre line here. Hoping the wind's going to ease a little bit. Oh, we need to be over to the left a bit as well. We've drifted. Come on. Come on.
$1,000.
Right. Apologies, chat, if I'm ignoring you. I'm just intensely concentrating at the moment.
$500. $400. $100 above. Minimum. $100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
Come on. Oh. That's a lot of wind. Oof. Man, that was stressful. I can still feel it pushing me now. I'm still on the rudder pedals trying to just keep it not throwing me off the centre line, just even at this speed. Oh. Yeah, that was tricky, that one. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Not bad, I'll take it. For a crosswind, I mean, I was a little bit late on the touchdown. A little bit late. I would have liked it to have touched down a little bit sooner. You can't have it all. Right, let's go find somewhere to park. Go and find somewhere to park. If you're new around here, feel free to hit that sub button. We do several of these a week. Other such videos and shorts and flight sim nonsense. Oh, I wish I'd just touched down a little bit earlier. I mean, that wasn't bad for a crosswind, but it wasn't... It was okay. It was okay. I am my own worst critic, after all. Yeah, keep your eyes peeled on the channel. Sub and ring the bell if you haven't, so you get notified. I'm going to do a... I've got a video of a crosswind in Gibraltar that I think was quite cool, so I'll put that one up on the channel later. Right, where's this terminal? This feels like the longest taxi in the world. I should rename that other stream. It wasn't your fault, Bevy. It was my fault. I was looking out the window, being distracted, taking in the views. I wasn't actually piloting. Who knew? Not piloting causes crashes. Right, where can we park? Yeah, you're off the hook, Bevy. Hey, no worries, Rock. Nice to have you in the chat today. Thanks for coming by. Hopefully see you again. You have a great day. Let's go over here, shall we? This looks like a gate. Dublin Airport does have some very long taxis. It's one of the things I remembered from actually flying there in real life. We were taxiing out to the runway. It's like, come on, like when are we going to be there? It's take forever. Yeah, this will do us. This will do us nicely. Well, welcome to Dublin, everybody. Bit of a hairy landing, but despite it not being a perfect landing, that was actually quite enjoyable to fly, so that was very cool. And I think we'll wrap the stream up there. Bevy's off. No worries, Bevy. Good to see you as always. Appreciate you coming by. I don't know when the next stream's going to be. It's probably going to have to be Monday. Realistically, looking at what I've got on for the rest of the week. I'll be doing some videos, though. I might record a long haul tomorrow and then stream that on Friday. That's a possibility. Albeit I won't be live here talking, but if you want a bit of relaxing background stuff, that could maybe be just a ticket. Anyway, like and sub if you haven't already. We do lots of this sort of stuff on the channel, and if I don't see you before, see you on Monday. Have a great week.